Hi everybody. I thought I'd share one of my favorite brush pens to use these days. They're really fun. It's an Ecoline brush pen. They're really thick, juicy, water-based pens, come in all kinds of colors. I like to use them with this watercolor paper pad. Any kind of watercolor paper is good. The smoother the better though. This is the Canson 140 pound or 300 gram watercolor paper in extra large. So let's open that up. The fun thing about these Ecoline brush pens is they are a really thick brush pen. So in compared with your others, if you're practicing, they do take more control in terms of the size, because of the size of the pen. So let me just move this down and do some, and so my letters in general are quite large. And this one, this purple I've used a lot, so it's quite dry. So I'll just open up another one that isn't as dry. Because like I said, in general, they're very, very juicy and pigmented. You can see that gradation in color. That is beautiful. And so, like I said, there are so many colors. I mean, I didn't get them all. I have 3 of the blues. So let's do the blues side by side and see what they look like. Look at that. Gorgeous. And then, gee, now I can't remember which blue I started with. Yeah, I think I got the 3 different blues. This is kind of a deeper blue. So this is 508. And in Canada, I buy these brush pens in our local Canadian art store. It's called Desserts, but you can look for these online. And this one is 506. So what I do like about these brush pens is their thickness is beautiful. So you can push down and get a really nice flex. And I am using watercolor paper just because they do absorb a lot of the pigment and liquid in these pens. They're just a simple, you can see how big I'm getting though. So if I can actually, go write smaller letters, but as soon as you get a big brush tip like this, and you do try to get smaller letters going, it's more challenging to get these clean transitions in your curves. So for example, I wouldn't push as hard. And what I look for in my ovals in particular is this interior oval part. I want this to be perfectly oval. And with this size of brush pen, you can see it's hard to get that. I don't like how this is not clean and curved in the interior. So I do draw bigger letters with these pens. Even that one, I don't like that transition. So let's try one more and see. Otherwise, I'll just give up and continue on. That's better. So what I mean by the interior, you can now see that inside this oval, I have a perfect oval. That's what I'm going for when I am doing brush lettering, but I'm getting off topic here. I'm actually supposed to be talking about Ecoline brush pens. All right. So the other fun thing to know about the Ecoline brush pens is the Ecoline does come in these liquid watercolors as well. So if you do any liquid watercolor brush lettering with paintbrushes, these are really beautiful colors. So I'll just show you a fun thing to do with these combined with the brush pen. And you've probably seen this before online. But what you can do is, take a couple of colors that go nicely together. So let's say I take the blue and the green, and I'll just simply open this up. And I will dip the tip of my blue pen in there. I actually don't dip it for very long. You'll just have to experiment. And then you can see this gorgeous outcome of color here. See the combination of the the green and the blue. So it starts with green. Remember, I have green on the tip. I'm just dipping the very tip of the pen in there. And then I get this, I get this beautiful two-toned effect with that green tip that changes to blue. Now I'm not going to dip, and you'll see how it fades slowly. It's going to become more and more blue like the original marker. So for this effect, if you want to continue, you can see the more blue is coming out, but look how long it's lasting. There's a good, let me zoom out a bit. There's a good gradation of color with the green hanging on in there in this blue. And basically to clean that out of there, you would just be able to kind of scribble and clean out your pen by scribbling it, and then you're back to your original blue color again. So I'll show one more example of this. I do have, like I said, there's many combinations. You could do the blue and the green together. You could pick up blue and purple is very beautiful together. And orange. I'm going to do orange and yellow. That'll be fun. Now, if your tip of your brush pen does look a little bit stained or discolored afterwards, that's okay, as long as it's, it'll go back to its original color. So this is 201 and this is 237 in the liquid. And let's just dip the tip in. So again, just you can see how much is on there. You can experiment. This is just all playtime. And then you get this very pretty sunset-y color. So, so lovely. Let's keep on going and see how it does. It does blend out. And again, this is something, remember, these are water-based pens, and this is something you can do with any water-based marker. So I could take my other water-based markers and also use them with this liquid watercolor, which I'll save for another video. So let me just scribble this out. Even the scribbles are fun. This is your compound curve. Not very good, but I'm just scribbling out. And maybe let's try one more. Let's try the red in the orange. This red is kind of dark. I'm not sure how this is going to look, but you know what? It's playtime, so always leave time to play. Okay, again, I'm going to dip just the tip in here and see how that goes. That's very pretty too, kind of like a fire. It's very subtle. I don't know if you can see the difference, but it's very subtle. I'm going to add more orange because that red is pretty powerful. So remember, if your color here is, I was just dipping it. If the color of your pen is a lot darker, the effects will be much more subtle. So let me just zoom out a bit. There you go. There's more of the orange coming through. I don't know why I have that wiggle coming down. Don't like that. There. And you can see that beautiful color in here. So that is what I wanted to share with you today. The fun of watercolor brush pens, and in particular, these Ecoline pens. So if you do follow me on Instagram, you'll see me use these sometimes, and they're just, like I said, make you feel a little bit more artistic because you're playing with colors and having a good time with that. Thanks for watching.